Well, thank you, Lord, for another beautiful day. Good morning, folks. Welcome back to my channel. We're working on a little scene here, and for those of you who have been following me, know that this course, this particular video series that I've created, has been designed to instruct you in the process of making your own animated short film. And the idea is that in teaching in real time, in my belief, is a much more effective way for you to learn the process of animation or drawing or whatever it is you're doing. And so that is the purpose of me doing these types of videos, is to be a help and to show you in real time what it requires, or what, how, at least how I work, for instance. Obviously, this is not a um, total point of view to be followed as though it's gospel. The idea is that it shows you how I work. And if that is a help to you, then it is there for that purpose, to be a help. There are a lot of these little courses. These are about 20 minutes or so in length. So obviously I only get to a little bit of these at a time. But the point is that you can see it in real time. And hopefully that will be helpful to you. So we've got little Nora falling into the scene. Lenny catches her and props her up. And then they start stacking the blocks together. What I try to do in a scene when I start it is I start out with a general idea of what it is I want the scene to be. And then I start to build that scene with drawings. And each drawing that I make then will sort of dictate what the next drawing might be, or what I need to do in order to get to that next position. Um, Generally speaking, when you're animating, usually you will have a storyboard ahead of time. However, for those of you who are new to this, the way that I have done this particular production is a little different than what I normally would do, in the sense that I had created a storybook version of this idea, which I had created and printed out, and now I'm choosing to make a film about it. And my initial thought was to use the storybook as a sort of storyboard, if you would. However, as time has progressed, I have found myself adding and changing and making modifications to how I want the story to play out. I have a friend, Alphonse Nobile, who's doing my lyrics, as I would call it in the book. And in so doing, he's given me some inspiration as to what I might do with the story. So it's evolving. And so I've allowed him to give me some inspiration that will then has caused the story to evolve somewhat, and which is good, because the process of creating something sometimes, well, in my experience, in most cases, is usually enhanced when you have collaboration, when you have other people involved. That can sometimes really give you a better product, or at least one that's got a little bit more diversity to it, or whatever you want to say. But I mean, obviously, I have to still make a decision about what I want the story to, how I want the story to flow. But it is a process. So you're getting to see that happen in real time, and it's kind of fun for me as well. All right, so we've got Lenny and Nora here. I kind of think that this scene is kind of pretty much shaping up, I think, the way that I had hoped that it would shape up. And I'm just trying to think about what comes after this. Miguel and Larry and Jason are going to come into the scene, but I don't think I'm going to have them come in this particular scene. I think I'm going to cut to, say, a different angle for them to come into the scene. So, so I think that maybe the scene will stop here, and that from this point I would cut to a new scene, and yeah, I think that that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. is that there will be a new scene at the end here after this drawing. I think the scene will change or cut to something new. So that's what's in my head right now. So we're going to run with that. So now go back to the beginning and we'll play through. And so at this point, I think what we need to start doing now is doing any additional drawings that will help us to connect the dots between the drawings so that we can start to make charts and timing and start to get things working. When I start out with a scene, generally I will expose the drawings on longer numbers. Like for instance, these drawings mostly are held 8 frames apiece, though there are a couple of drawings at the end that I believe are on 10. So like if I stop here and you look at the top timeline here, you'll see that as I click on each one of these, each one of the drawings is held for 8 frames. I think the last 2 drawings are held for 10 frames. Yeah. So the last 2 drawings are held for 10 frames. I don't know exactly why I chose to hold those last. I think maybe, I don't know. I'm not really sure. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back through and I'm going to um, start to kind of bridge the gap here with drawing. So I'm going to add a drawing here after. And Nora's falling in, so what I'm going to do here is grab this drawing as she's fallen in. I'm going to copy it and put it into the blank area. And then so the idea here is that she falls into the scene like that. Now Lenny, on the other hand, he doesn't move, but his eyes follow her. So, so I'm going to grab him, copy him, go to the blank frame, paste him, and then I'm going to erase his eyes because his eyes are going to follow her. And let's see, let's go to a full window here. So his eyes are going to follow her as she topples into the frame here. So the idea is that the only thing that's moving here is his eyes. And you can see there to there to there, right? So now he is going to catch her. He drops his block. Now I think probably, actually, I think we got enough drawings here. I would say we could chart these. He turns as she starts to come back up. Yeah. And then he pulls her up. So I'd say, okay, we need a drawing in here, between here and here. So let's we'll add a drawing here. And let's see. All right, um, so he's going from there. From there to there. All right. So let's see. Well, let's see. My guess is then Nora's gonna kind of turn here. Um, yeah, so she's gonna have to kind of turn around. Let's see. So let's see. I guess Let's see. This foot would have to, yeah, we'd have to have some kind of shift here. So we're going from here to here to here. You know, see, she's coming around like that. So she would be, her face would be to the front. Let's see. Yeah. Her hair, I guess, would be, yeah, it's going to have to kind of flow this way. Maybe something like this. And she's holding the block. So it's got to kind of pivot around. Maybe like this. So if we go boom, boom, boom. Well, that's not too bad. That gets her, starts to get her around. All right, so hmm, so it's, I'm kind of dealing with her first because she's the thing. She's part of the action that's the biggest part that's moving. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so, and okay, so she's holding the block here, and the block is kind of swinging around. Let's see, her hand is on it here. There. Same thing here. There's her jumper there. And her hand. So we got her feet here. Her body is sweeping around this way. I guess we could make this leg here sweep a little bit more. I suppose we could have, yeah, we can have this leg here come out more. You know, like she's coming around. Ding. Yeah, that's good. So like that leg is, yeah, okay. That might be good. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. And then Lenny is going to be, yeah, so he's going from here to here. So, all right, so let's grab his head because that's always the hardest thing to in between. We'll grab that, copy it, paste it on this in between, and move it to where it should be, which would be in between here. Yeah, because the key's coming up, you see. Yeah, I think that's right. So it's kind of like he's coming up. Yeah. Tricky business. Wow. Let me back up here. Yeah, see now I went back to that because I wanted to uh, adjust it a little bit. I think that's, yeah, he's coming up. That's, because see, once I turn that off, I'm sort of outside of the, um, yeah, it's tricky now because see, I'm erasing all of the interference in here. So I'm kind of committed once I turn that off. So I think you can kind of see what I mean. It's like I grab that head, you see, but when I placed it in here, the question is, did I place it in the right spot? I think I have. And then his body is going to from here to here. So that means then this body is, it's in the middle here, right? It's got to get over to here. And his arms, I think, well, yeah, he's got to grab her, see, here some kind of way. And he's going to go from there to there to there. Oh, okay. So his hand is here. Yeah, see, it's a real interaction in here. It gets real tricky when yeah, tricky, tricky, tricky. All right, so his hand is probably something like this, right? So he's reaching in here, and his body is coming around. Um, Something like that, maybe. Right? He's kind of pushing that way. So he's going from here, there, there. Okay, it looks like this arm actually probably needs to be in front of, yeah, it needs to be in front of her shoulder there. Yeah. So that arm needs to be like that. He's coming up. Yeah, I see. Okay. And then, let's see. Um, Move this over here. And it's hard for y'all to see it. Okay, so see, he's coming over and up. And then, okay, and then we're just going to copy the block that he's got here. So we'll just grab this one and we'll go copy, paste. All right, and we'll save. Let's see. Yeah. See, now it's the timing isn't right, and it's not going to go that slowly. It's going to go faster than that. But I have to articulate how they get into these poses. That's the tricky part. See, that's what I'm doing now is I'm breaking down the action. So that was a tricky little position that I just did. Yeah. All right. Now, as she turns, she's got her block in hand here. So I'll put the proper labels on it where they should go. Okay. Yeah, I could even have his little foot thing. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and then so like here, yeah, coming down into this position here. So probably, yeah. I mean, I probably need another drawing in here. Yeah, I think so. Okay, well, I think we're going to stop here because we're right at 20 minutes here. So I'm going to stop. I try not to have these videos be too long. All right, folks. Well, look, we're making progress. Okay. Well, hey. All right, folks. Well, look, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day. Once again, as I say all the time, Always give God glory and thanks for your talents and gifts. He blesses each and every one of us with something specific and special and different. And so don't forget, give him the glory, give him the praise and honor. And I realize that I'm talking to folks, some of which may not be Christian people. I understand that. But I'm just sharing with you. I give God glory every day. I thank him. I don't think well, I don't think I would not have the talents that I have. I would not have had the opportunities in my life had it not been for God's interaction and involvement in my life. But it's only because really I welcome him into my life. God is a perfect gentleman. He will not force himself on anyone. He cares about people, but he wouldn't have given us free moral abilities and agency if he was going to just tell us everything to do or just make us do it. No, he gave us that out of his love and goodness. He wanted a family, and that's what he has. But we have to be, as you would in any family, you have to be cooperative and obedient to your parents. And God is my ultimate parent. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. You have a beautiful day, and don't forget, Jesus is Lord.